Hey everyone, Gaijin Goomba here. Well, a lot of you guys have been asking for it, so here we go. Let's talk Undertale. When it comes to the main character... What? That's a spoiler? Really? Alright. Well, if I can't cover that, let's talk about that crazy robot that... Yeah? Really? That's a spoiler too? Okay, what if we talk about this flower guy, and how he... What? I can't talk about him either. You know what? Screw it. Let's just talk about the only thing you see before playing the actual game. The introduction story. Is that a spoiler? No? Good. So what we know about the world of Undertale is that it originally had monsters and humans living side by side on the surface, until one day, war broke out between the two species. Defeated, the monsters were pushed back and sealed away by a magic spell. Later, we hear that those who climbed Mount Ebbet, or is that Obbit? Well, whatever, they were never heard from again. And we find out that it was this mountain that acted as the entryway into the ruins of the realm of the monsters, where supposedly there is no escape. Seems like a fairly unique and simplistic setup, right? But what if I told you that everything about the world of Undertale, from its story, to its people, to even its system of government, is completely parallel to a culture that's been around for thousands of years? Well, it wouldn't be culture shock if I didn't, but it's true! The underground of Undertale and all of the monsters that call it home resonate within it the ancient Celtic realm of Otherworld and the supernatural beings that dwell within it. The first clue comes from the first few sentences in Undertale's introduction. In-game, a war broke out between humans and monsters. And when I say monsters, I don't mean just dragons and ogres and the like. We're talking about armor-clad dogs, pyrotechnic goat guardians, charismatic skeletons, warrior fish people. There's a lot of varied characters going on here. But it's only later on in the game we discover why that war broke out. The humans became afraid of the magics and power that the monsters wielded. Completely outmatched though, the humans drove the monsters deep underground, theoretically through Mount Ebbet. This has a direct connection to the She, a Celtic word referring to the hills where long barrows lay. The creatures, often thought as fairies who live beneath these hills, are called Aes She, or people of the mounds. Below these hollowed hills exist thriving communities of magical beings ruled under a king and or a queen, called the Zana Mega, or king or queen fairy. As for the residents of these mounds themselves, while they're typically called fairies, they aren't the tiny winged creatures we tend to think about these days. The She dwellers range from the wee leprechauns, to the shape-shifting anthropomorphic pukas, to even undead creatures like the Banshee. Already I'm sure you're seeing some of the similarities between the residents of Underground and those of Otherworld. But why? Why were the She driven under the hills? Enter the Milesians, or the Ancient Irish. Within Irish medieval Christian pseudo-history, the Milesians were the last people to settle in what we know today as Ireland. When they came across the supernatural creatures on their arrival, battle broke out between Christian man and pagan god. In the end, mankind was to settle the surface, and the pagan magical creatures were to dwell in the world below, which had become Otherworld. Is that not the exact same situation that happened in Undertale? In-game, you have a society of magical creatures ruled under a monarchy who went to war with mankind, lost, was driven underground, sealed off from the surface, and established their own underground community. In Irish folklore, again, you have a society of magical creatures ruled under a monarchy who went to war with mankind, lost, was driven underground, sealed off from the surface, and established their own underground community. Oh, and don't think I'm done either. I got plenty of evidence to prove that the story and characters of Undertale undeniably match up alongside Ireland's ancient folklore. But those facts involve a lot of spoilers, and I mean a lot of spoilers, and I didn't feel like getting lynched this episode. But you better believe next time I'm rolling out the big guns. But for now, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But if you're interested in a more personal take on Undertale, I posted a new game exchange on my channel on how Undertale is the ultimate game of hope. Otherwise, be sure to check out the description for even more culture and gaming and other theorist videos. But until next time everyone, this is Gaijin Goomba signing out.